The hate that Bethesda is currently getting is just getting really out of hand to the point where I have to make a video on it. I was hoping that this would blow over and I could avoid it, but apparently not. In fact, it just seems to, unfortunately, be getting worse. Of course, this is just another Bethesda hate train, and I know it's something that we really shouldn't be paying any kind of attention to, because most of this stuff does just come down to people hating it just because it's Xbox, or people who mistakenly think that what we're talking about is being made by Bethesda game studios. And yes, of course, I'm talking about the new Indiana Jones game. Now, of course, you all know that this is a game I am greatly excited for. It is easily my most anticipated game of 2024 at the moment, but recently, ever since the announcement, the game and Bethesda as a whole are getting a lot of really stupid and unnecessary hate. First and foremost, I want to talk about the hate that's coming from people who, well, in all honesty, have no idea what they're talking about. See, when I made my video sort of reacting to the Indiana Jones gameplay and just giving my thoughts and all of that usual stuff, I got a lot of comments saying things like, well, Bethesda made Starfield, so we shouldn't be excited, and all of that usual crap that people like to say. Of course, I usually just hide these people from the channel so then they can't comment anymore. You all know I do my best to keep my channel and my Discord as friendly and positive as possible. We don't do negativity here, just positive vibes only. So many of you wouldn't have seen these comments in my own videos, again because they just get flagged and removed. Well, first things first, if you are of the opinion that Starfield sucks, that's fine, you don't have to enjoy it. Video games, of course, are subjective, but you don't need to bring negativity here. But the point I want to make in this video is that the people working on Indiana Jones are not the same people who made Starfield at all. So if you're hating on Indiana Jones because, you know, it's Bethesda, let me just break it down for you. Now, I'm going to go over this as simply as I can. Bethesda is the publisher, the company as a whole. They own smaller dev teams, such as Bethesda Game Studios, which is Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Starfield, and Arcane, which is Deathloop, Dishonored, Redfall, etc. And then you have Machine Games, which is your Wolfenstein, the original Quake, and now Indiana Jones. Now, another reason why this might be a little confusing for you all is because, yes, Todd Howard is working on Indiana Jones, and Todd Howard is the director of Bethesda Game Studios, the Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and Fallout team. Now, to try and put it as simply as I can, Todd Howard had an idea for an Indiana Jones game he's always wanted to create. Went to Lucasfilm, gained the approval/rights to make said game, and knew that firstly, his team, again at Bethesda Game Studios, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Fallout, didn't have the time to make a new game, and also that they wouldn't be the right fit. Bethesda Game Studios, again your Elder Scrolls, Fallout and Starfield, otherwise known as BGS, make RPGs, open world RPGs, and Indiana Jones isn't an RPG or fully open world. So Todd Howard went to Machine Games, another dev team under the Bethesda umbrella that I just showed you. Machine Games agreed, and now they're making an Indiana Jones game. Todd Howard is simply helping them produce it because the game was his idea. So now I hope that all makes sense to you. In short, if you're saying Indiana Jones will suck because you think Starfield or Fallout or Elder Scrolls sucks, just be quiet because you're making a fool of yourself. Anyway, the main reason that Indiana Jones is getting hate is because it's first person. And yes, I know that sounds silly, suddenly everybody hates first-person games. Now, I think a lot of people's problem is that they want to actually see Indiana Jones when they're playing the game, right? Not just his hands and his whip or whatever. Well, I do understand that, but let's look at this logically for a second. Now, first and foremost, Indiana Jones being first-person instead of third-person helps it stand out and not just be another generic explorer game like that of Tomb Raider or the Uncharted series. Not that those games are generic, but you get my point. If Indiana Jones was third person, these exact same people would probably just be calling it an Uncharted or Tomb Raider clone. But then just to go a little bit further, Indiana Jones is a game filled with puzzles. This has been shown and confirmed to us. I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather do puzzles in first person. I find it makes them easier, you're looking at things closely, etc. When playing this game, they've told us we're going to be heavily expecting items and carvings and ruins and, you know, building structures and stuff like that. Now, being in first person will help with that massively, at least from my opinion. Now, another reason, and probably the main reason that I'm actually happy that this game is in first person, is because it's Machine Games. This is what they do, they make first person games. Wolfenstein and Quake especially are some of the most iconic first-person games ever. This is what they used to, this is what they like to do, this is just how they operate. Now I personally would much rather have them create a game in a style that they're used to and very comfortable with than attempt to make a style of game that they've never really done before, and possibly fail at it. I never really had any doubts that this Indiana Jones game would fail anyway, but honestly just the fact that it is in first person gives me even more hope that this will be a great game. But honestly that's basically it. The game is just getting a ton of hate for two reasons, which in my opinion, especially the first one with the confusion of who is actually making this game, are just really ridiculous when you dive into them and figure out why people are actually upset. And I can appreciate that some people simply just don't like first person games. Now I have a friend, one of my closest friends, who really hates first person. They just can't mess with it, they can't deal with it. They've never been able to play a first person game. And they're huge on Indiana Jones, like they're a massive Indiana Jones fan. So this was kind of a bummer for them. So I understand, but he's not hating on the game for it, you know? And that's what I wanted to address. Like, I can understand actually being a little bit upset or disappointed about the fact that this is a first person game, but giving devs and the game itself hate for something that I think was obvious from the moment we saw that this was coming from Machine Games is a little ridiculous. And of course we also can't ignore the fact that a lot of the hate does just boil back down to pathetic plastic box wars and, like I mentioned earlier, just another sad Bethesda hate train. But honestly, that's just a whole other issue. There's so much hate surrounding all video games at the moment, it really sucks, and that's why I try to keep my channel and Discord as positive as possible, which, in all honesty, probably doesn't help with my viewer or subscriber count, but I mean, you've all seen it, I'm sure. I'd get a hell of a lot more subs and views if I just made negative content 7 days a week, but I hate that shit, so, you know, who cares? There's so much negativity in the world as it is. Gaming should be about having fun and enjoying what you enjoy. But the thing is, most of us are looking forward to this game, right? Like I said earlier, this is definitely my most anticipated game of the year. Of course that could change once we see what else is releasing for 2024, but I am super excited to try this game out. I'm really hoping for a review copy when the time comes. But anyway, excuse that little rant, that is all I have to say today. Of course, if you did enjoy the video, I do kindly ask that you leave it a like before you go. And of course, if you want to stay up to date on everything Bethesda, from this Indiana Jones game to the Fallout series to Elder Scrolls Starfield, and plenty of other RPGs and just your average single player games, this is definitely the place for you. So please do consider subscribing, we'd love to have you join our little community. And of course, lastly, as always, a huge massive thank you to all of our channel members for sticking with me month after month. It truly means the world, guys, so thank you so much once again. And thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.